I know I technically did Q&As recently. I did that 160 question tag that I created, and I also did the binge eating disorder, but I decided that this would be a lot more fun to have it be more of things that people are asking me about my life. So here we go, a Q&A. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should, because I talk about geeky things, and today I'm going to do a Q&A video. So if you guys want to ask me more questions, go ahead and hit down here with the comments for questions you guys may want to know about anything in my life. I'm kind of an open book, so if you have Power Rangers questions, if you have questions about anime or Disney or my personal life, as long as it's not too personal, I'll probably answer the question. So let's just jump into it. So my friend Matt wants to know, has there ever been a movie that you really disliked when you first saw it, but later on after watching it again, you realized that you actually kind of liked it? No, not really. I think that when I was a kid, I didn't understand Hitchcock. But as an adult who studied film history and film criticism, and so watched a lot of Hitchcock, I understand Hitchcock's story a lot more, his storytelling techniques, and I appreciate Hitchcock a lot more these days. So I guess anything by Hitchcock. I remember seeing The Birds and Rear Window when I was really little. Like I said, I just didn't get them at all. But no, I really can't recall a specific movie that I've seen that I didn't like it when I first saw it, but like it as I got older or saw it again. Generally speaking, if I don't like it, I never watch it again. So I don't know. That's probably my answer. Dylan actually asked some questions on Twitter, and he also asked some questions on YouTube. So we're gonna do his Twitter question here first. Do you have any ships you wanted to happen in Power Rangers that never did? Yes, but also no. So the reason why I'm saying that is because there are ships that I wanted to have happen and never did, but I also have ships that mean a lot to me that did theoretically happen, but because it's a kid's show, it's really, really hard to elaborate on a love story, because love stories are only for adults, I guess. One of the ones I really love to have seen happen is Wes and Eric getting together, because here's the thing. Now I know Wes is in love with Jen, Eric is in love with Taylor, we're gonna get there, but I love the whole like I hate you vibe turning into just mad, passionate love making. I also really wanted Leo to end up with Carone, and I know the whole story was to have him end up with Kendrick, but I'm sorry. I just think he had so much better chemistry with Carone's actress, Melody Perkins, that I really appreciated that storyline a lot more. So that one. And then as far as the ship that did sort of happen, but we didn't get much of it, was Eric and Taylor. So they fall in love, and we get like literally 2 minutes of their love story, and that's it. So I wish that they would do more with that particular love story. I guess I'm also going to throw in there Jack and Sky would have been fun, I think, as well. But there you go. Those are the ships in Power Rangers that either I would have loved to have seen sail, but they didn't, or did sail and Power Rangers just didn't care enough to give us a decent love story. So Andy wants to know, who's your favorite all-time Ranger and Power Ranger series. So my favorite Power Ranger season or series is Power Rangers in Space, very closely followed by RPM. Sometimes when I'm watching RPM, I'll sometimes think, why do I like In Space more than RPM? So they're very, very close, and sometimes I do think about switching them. My all-time favorite Ranger will always be Jason. I think just because of my love for Jason and the history of it all. But there you go. Jason is my all-time favorite Power Ranger, even though he doesn't have much character. So if I had to go by character, I'd actually have to think about that a little bit. I'd have to think about like who I like most, I guess. Maybe I'll figure that out based on character alone, who is my favorite Power Ranger, and I'll do a whole video on why, maybe. We'll think about that. But for right now, Jason will remain my favorite Power Ranger of all time. Luigi Durden, I think is how you pronounce their username on Twitter. Have you ever watched pro wrestling, and if so, what's your fondest pro wrestling memory? I haven't watched a lot of pro wrestling, but I did back in like the 90s when it was called WWF, when it was the World Wrestling. I don't remember what it stood for, but they had changed it to WWE because the Worldwide Wildlife Foundation, or the World Wildlife Foundation, got angry that they had the same kind of initials. And mostly it was just memories with my best friend, Nikki. She and her family were super into wrestling, and we would have fun. She was a Cold Stone Steve Austin fan. I was of the Rock fan, so you could imagine how those conversations went. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. A lot of really good memories of that. Was literally the only time I ever watched wrestling was when I was at her house, because my parents didn't really watch wrestling back then. So that's really all. I've not watched a ton of wrestling since. I don't know much about what's going on now in the storylines, but I did very much love the stuff from way back when in the 90s. All right, my friend Kay wants to know, what's your favorite thing to do when you can just chill around? I like to play The Sims, or I like to watch television, generally things that I am nostalgic about. So I'll rewatch before I'll watch something new. I'll rewatch something. So like right now I'm rewatching Time Force because I finished Time Ranger recently. So I'm rewatching Time Force right now. And I'm rewatching Dino Thunder just because I want to, and I'm really upset that we don't have Opera Ranger even announced yet. But yeah, those kinds of things, that's what I like to do when I want to just chill, is just either watch something on TV or play The Sims, or I'll do both because I do have dual monitors with my current computer, so it's a lot easier for me to be able to do both. But yeah, so that is that answer for you. Warm Milk wants to know my most influential game in my childhood. So when I first read that question, I immediately thought board game, which would be the Game of Life or Monopoly. Those were both games that I played a lot when I was a kid. We played a lot of Jenga too, but then I started thinking about video games, and I got to think mostly anything Mario was really influential in my life. I played a lot of Mario when I was a kid. Specifically Super Mario World 3 was kind of my favorite until N64 came out with Mario 64. Super Mario 64, that's still one of my favorite games that I still play to this day, and I love it. So the rest of Dylan's questions: what is my favorite red wine? If you're going by grape, I tend to like the darker grapes. So Shiraz, Syrah, which are the same grape. One is just grown in Australia, the other one is not. Shiraz is grown in Australia, Syrah is not. I like the Petit Syrah, which is a different grape. And I like Zinfandel, with a red Zinfandel. The funny story, so I was having dinner with Brad Swale at Youmacon one year, and they came over for our drink orders, and I'm like, oh, I'll have the Zinfandel. And they come back with a white Zin. And I'm like, no. I never send things back, but I wanted the red. And they're like, oh, nobody ever orders a red Zinfandel. And I'm like, it's literally Zinfandel. They change it to make it the white Zinfandel, and it's not even all that white, but either way. So that's a funny story. If we're going by brand, I really like the Bin 50, which is a Shiraz grape. But the Bin 50 is really great. I'm not against cheap brands. I like Boda-Box a lot. Like, I love boxed wine. It's cheaper. It tastes just fine. Wine connoisseurs, I'm a wine snob, but like other wine snobs would like be snobby towards me for it. But quite frankly, they're just fine. Boda-Box is one of my favorites. I also really like Black Box a lot. Otherwise, Yellowtail. You can never go wrong with Yellowtail, ever. Yellowtail's good. He also wants to know what color belt I am in karate, or are you so advanced that you have metal braces that says Karate Night on it instead. So here's a funny story. Oh, and then he also went, or are you doing a different martial art now? So funny story about both of those questions. So I'm only a brown belt in karate, and the reason why is because when I was a kid going through, I got to advanced red. So in my school specifically, our belt colors went white, gold, green, purple, blue, red, advanced red, brown, advanced brown, candidate black, black, and then the degrees after that. So that's how my school went. I don't know how that school goes now, because I know they changed things, and they also changed franchises. So I don't know how the color scheme goes with the belts anymore at that point. But I got to advanced red when I was a kid and when I hurt myself. And so then I stopped martial arts for a very long time, except for what I would do at home. And then I got back into it, and I went, I got to brown, so I went up one belt level. But then I moved, and it was a lot harder for me to go to that school, and now that school is not the school that I was before. And I've gotten to a point now where if I ever did join another school now, I would want to start over anyway, to re-earn my colors. So I've only ever gotten to brown. As far as studying other martial arts, I have studied so many different forms of martial arts. I am a lover of martial arts in general. I've done Tang Soo Do, I've done karate. The form of karate that I was learning when I was a kid is a mix of Shotokan and Taekwondo. I've done full-on Taekwondo. I have done a little bit of Judo. I have done a little bit of Kempo. I've done, I think that's pretty much it. Can't think of anything else that I've tried. But I tend to like striking martial arts more, so even though I've done Judo and Tang Soo Do, which are more grappling, I do enjoy the striking forms more. So there's that. I do want to try Kendo at some point. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's all the questions that I had. Like I said, if you guys want me to do more of these, go ahead and leave questions in the comments below and we'll get there. If you guys want to see my last Q&A, you guys can click right here. If you guys want to see the video where I answered 160 questions, you guys can click right here to see that. You guys can click here to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications about all my uploads. I'm looking forward to seeing how well we can grow my channel together. Please help me do that by sharing this video and clicking subscribe and that bell notification. And I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.